Hello everyone. I thought while I was, making videos here, I would answer another prompt. This prompt is for prompt number 30, which is buy multiple dolls at once, which I am guilty of. um, I'm actually guilty of doing it 3 times. Let's see. First was with my Dolce boys. I actually I would say, bought them a week apart, but at the same time, I consider them together. They'll be shipping together, and yeah, I count them as, But the reason why I did that is simply because I wasn't the sale at the time, mind you. This was in April, so at the time it said it was due to end at any time. It didn't have an official ending date, so I was very worried. Oh my God, they're going to end the sale. And I had gotten my Dolce Saint first because I love Dolce Saint. I just love him. Every time I see him, I just love him more and more. But then the same thing was happening with Dolce Bernard. I realized that every time I looked at him, I was loving him more and more. And I was just like, I don't want to miss out on my Saint, definitely, but I can't let this pass for my Dolce Bernard. So I went for them both because I definitely didn't want to miss the sale. So that one, I feel like it was kind of justified, if only because there was a sale going on at the time. And I thought, I can't resist. And I was like, I had even told myself, if I did miss the sale, I would get my Dolce Bernard later, even. Like, it was that bad. I was like, I'll pay full price for him. I don't care. I want him. But I lucked out and was able to get them and combine their shipping and everything. It was great. Even though, I'm still waiting for them. Anyway, my next time that I did that was with my Doll Chateau dolls. Now, I shouldn't have. I will say that right now. I really shouldn't have. But I'm a very impatient person, and not only am I impatient, but the company was new, and I think I kind of wanted to take advantage of the newness, and I really wanted to be. I felt like I wanted to be amongst the first to have them, which is never how you should feel, but we all do. We kind of want to have a unique doll that no one else has. Like sometimes we get like that. So I was like, I'll order them both at once. And then I did, and it was an awful layaway. Because they're not very cheap. Like, they may be cheap in comparison to other dolls, but all dolls are, considered cheap to some other doll. But to get, if I got them one at a time, I really could have opened up more money for just other things, like even just life things. But I was stuck in this layaway for these 2 dolls, and it was just like, oh God, when will it end? But it did end. I actually managed to end it early, but only because I got a crap load of overtime once, and I was like, this layaway has to end. So I just threw money at it and got rid of it. But then I made the same mistake right after ending it. I was like, what the hell was I thinking? But in this one, I also felt I had no choice. It was kind of like the Dolce situation, except not to get in on a sale. Zoom did a month, like it was a New York event because they were going to New York Comic Con, and it was for their monthly dolls, and they were re-releasing them, and you could get them in combinations, and you can get them in either normal skin or bronze, and I couldn't resist. Now, it was only because Soon Sard has been like a Grell doll for so long. I don't even know how long, but it was getting to the point where, and I'm getting to the point of my collection where if I really do want the doll, and even if it's a rare doll or a doll that I wouldn't call rare, but was like limited. There we go. Even if it was a limited doll and I have to pay a lot more to get it, I want it, so therefore I'm going to try and make any sacrifice I can for it. It was actually getting to the point where I was going to take someone's offer to buy a cream white sard. Um, it was actually $2,000, which, it sounds horrible saying how much it costs and looking how much it costs, but it didn't surprise me in the slightest. But I was going to see if they would take the layaway at all, and I was going to do what I could, even if they let me do a 6 month. I was going to do what I could to get that sard because I love him. And then the event was announced. I was like, shut up. So I I was like, ooh, that was fantastic timing because I really did almost get the sard. It was 1 to 2. Someone else got the other one. But uh, I got my sard. I got him on the Chalco body because I love thighs on Chalco. Sometimes I kind of regret that, but we'll see. More and more, I have to actually see the combination, see if it works. So I got him, and I was like, oh, I'll be satisfied. I'll just have him. But then I made the mistake of falling in love with another of the monthly dolls that were being offered. That's the Sum IO. And I know you haven't seen many Sum IOs around because you don't see them really around. I didn't see a Sum IO around until the event was announced, and I think because people saw the interest in Sum IO, so they were like, oh, let me share some pictures because I didn't know anyone was interested. Probably something like that. Because, there's so many dolls that sometimes people only look at the dolls that they're interested in, to be fair. So I saw Sum IO and I just fell in love. Like I couldn't stop thinking about him. So I made the same mistake again and got 2 dolls at the same time. I had to get them a layaway to be able to afford them. And I would not have done it, but I realized that the second-hand prices would have been ridiculous. And I had no idea if I would have found an IO at all because I think only 8 people ordered him, the poor thing. Like, he's one of the most, I want to say he's one of the most unpopular of the monthly dolls. I mean, there are other unpopular monthly dolls, I'm perfectly sure, but he's very underrated. And I'm like, well, only 8 people, including my order, went through for him. One of those 7 people would have to decide to sell him if I'm going to get him. And if they don't, well, then I don't get him. Because I don't really ever see him around, especially with the scarred head. Because that I know most people haven't gotten rid of. Or if they have gotten rid of it, they got rid of it a long time ago. Because he's an older monthly doll. He came out now 3 years ago, I think, if I remember correctly. I may be remembering wrong. But I definitely wanted to take advantage of the fact they were both being offered, so I put them both on layaway and got them at the same time. I had no choice, or I felt I had no choice. So in those 3 circumstances, yes, bought the dolls at the same time. The only ones that I would take back were the Doll Chateau dolls, but then again, I don't regret them. Like at first, I was a little iffy. I'm like, I really could have waited for one, but I love having them both home together, especially since they're supposed to be husband and wife. It's just nice to have them both here. But those are 3 major ones. I have ordered dolls around the same time, like multiple dolls around the same time, but I don't think that's what the prompt's about. And if it is, well, it's just I only ordered the multiple dolls because I got very impatient, because I'm a very impatient person. And at the time, I was able to use the money for them. Like, the only time I was really, really like, what the hell was I doing, was when I by accident had 3 dolls on layaway at the same time, and they all needed payments at the same time. It was only for 1 month, but never again on that one. I can manage 2, especially if they are not as expensive as the Doll Chateau dolls, and definitely not as expensive as Sum dolls. 2 I can do again, reasonably and comfortably. 3 is like crazy sauce. I don't even know what I was thinking when I did that. And I mean 3 at the same time because I do kind of have 3 on layaway right now, but the payments don't coincide. So I don't have like messiness all over the place, which is good. So yeah, that's my answer to that prompt. Basically, one was because I wanted to make sure to be on a sale. One was because I was really, really impatient and wanted them both home because I wanted to be like the one to have that pair. And third one is because I did not want to miss out, especially on my SARD. And I just couldn't let go of his face. I like tried so hard. I actually did. I was just like, will you really regret it? Because I had talked myself out of the Chalco because I've always loved Chalco, but I talked myself out of him simply because I was like, well, push comes to shove, I can find a Chalco later in the marketplace. I know it. But when it came to Io, I was like, I know I won't be able to find them, so I couldn't let him go. So yeah, those are my reasons for doing multiple, buying several dolls at once or 2 dolls at once, which is my limit. So yeah, was it very informative? I bet it wasn't. But yeah, I did another prompt. Well, that's what I for my New Year plans. All right, so that's all. Thank you if you watched. Bye.